This is the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum. I'm going to tell you what we've got going on here. We have an installation and an exhibit by the Seattle Black Panther Party. If you're unfamiliar with Seattle Black Panther Party, they were the first chapter of the Black Panther Party formed outside of California, and they accomplished amazing things. They started, among other things, what is now known as the Free Breakfast Program. Yes, they started that right here in Seattle. The national program that goes on everywhere, all around the country, was started by the Seattle Black Panther Party. The Seattle Black Panther Party was started by Elmer Dixon and Aaron Dixon. And these gentlemen at the time, 17, 18, 19 years old, 22, 23, 24 years old, that were leading this movement. Come down and check it out. But wait, there's more. You saw earlier, if you were watching, Mr. Jim Tharp was up here, who told you about his incredible quilt collection, the Hartsfield quilt collection. Some of these quilts date back to the 1850s. Now, do you know about the quilt codes? Academia says that the quilt codes do not exist. The quilt codes were codes that were placed into quilts. These codes were ways for enslaved people to communicate with each other. The reason why academia says that they do not exist is because they weren't written down. Well, of course they were not written down. You would be killed, tarred, feathered, burned alive. And so what an incredible job of keeping a secret during this time. These quilts will be on display. Seattle Black Panther Party installation is here. Once again, phenomenal and incredible. The Black Heritage Society of Washington has the Jackson Street exhibit, which is here with us once again. The Rainier Cinema Black movie posters. Can you tell them gentlemen to stop talking, please? The Rainier Cinema Black movie posters. Now, this building that we're in, once again, used to be called the Rainier Cinema. As I mentioned, that this building has been a number of things in this community. In the late 60s and the early 70s, it was the only space where you could see what we call Black and Kung Fu movies. And so this is where we saw Superfly. This is where we saw the Mac. This is where we saw Cleopatra Jones. This is where we saw Claudine. This is where we saw all of those movies. And we have a poster collection. Well, that's Rainier Avenue. That is actually my personal collection. And I decided to bring posters down here from the 60s and the 70s. Is something, this collection of posters that I have here, I call Confrontation, Excitation, and Exploitation. The thing that I like about movie posters is it shows the character and the spirit of independent Black filmmakers through the posters. How much money they had to make the posters, how much money they didn't have to make the posters, but they reflected who we were, as opposed to the major filmmaking companies who depicted us however they wanted to. And so in the 60s and the early 70s, they realized there was a lot of money to be made by showing Black films. And so it was kind of a comeback at first for Black films. That's where this term Blaxploitation comes into play. You'll find out more about that when you get down here. But yes, this building, the Rainier, was the Rainier Cinema. If you Google that now, feel free to Google, you'll find out that it doesn't exist. That's why it's so important for us to document our own history. Your history is important. Your family history is important. Too many times I've heard stories of folks who say, well, we have our grandparents, our great-grandparents' stuff. What are we going to do with this? And they throw it away. How many homes have thrown away history that could connect and tie the pieces together of the contributions of African Americans in this country? So let's stop doing that. What do you do with it? I know you might be saying to yourself, well, there's nowhere to go. We'll figure it out. First thing is keep it. Call us at Call to Conscience. so that we can document, digitize, make this history available, showcase it, show it to people. We have our community wall. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So along with the Rainier Cinema Black movie posters, we have Revere XR. So if you're into technology, you will have the opportunity to walk into a metaverse, put some goggles on, and be in the old Central District, which was not the Central District that it is today. But at the point in time, that was the only place where Black folks and folks of color could live due to restrictions and covenants where we couldn't even live in another neighborhood. On the one hand, I remember that time as very cool. I was one of those young people who benefited from the Seattle Black Panther Party free breakfast program, and your whole neighborhood, your whole community was there. Anyway, Revere XR is a partner of ours, and they're actually putting on a hackathon, the University of Washington, on the 2nd and 3rd. So check that out as well. You did hear from Michael Blows in the Negro League Baseball, Seattle Steelheads. Incredible display that Michael's put together. He's actually got enough stuff probably to fill up this whole theater, but we've got a portion of it right here. And he's also got some information for you that you can see. Come on down. Seattle Steelheads. Seattle had a Negro League baseball team. It lasted basically one season. But come down and find out more. He's also got more artifacts and a lot of visuals for you to see about Negro League baseball. Ezel's Famous Chicken and Splay is up here now. Nasty Mix Records and Sir Mix-a-Lot. The story of Nasty Mix Records. The display is phenomenal. Sheila, thanks. Wonderful job with that display. Authentic artifacts that you'll be able to see here. The South Seattle Emerald, which display is right behind me, actually, will be here. This is a online newspaper that was started 10 years ago. So you may be saying 10 years is not that long. It's a 10-year anniversary. That's how history works. In 1920, they probably weren't thinking about it being 2020 and us talking about all of the things that were taking place during the Harlem Renaissance, which happened after Reconstruction. So history is something that is made every day. The South Seattle Emerald, come down and find out more about this amazing online newspaper and its founder, Marcus Harrison Green. That is here. It's actually right behind me. Can't see it, but you will when you come down. I mentioned community keepsakes and memorabilia. We're inviting everyone who attends to bring down a piece of memorabilia on an 8.5 by 11, or you can digitize it and send it to us. We're going to put it up on our community wall. We started out last year with nothing on the wall, a blank wall. And we finished and had quite a bit of that wall full. We're going to put a number of those back up, and we're going to add more to it. We want to fill up the entire wall with community memorabilia, telling the story of your history and your community. Anthony Long was up here earlier. He put together an incredible slideshow on behalf of the Museum of History and Industry that covers a number of different things. Thank you, Anthony, for your time and effort in putting that together. You'll be able to see it on our big screens, which were provided by Tabor 100. Thanks, Rico, for making that happen. A lot of different people were involved in pulling this together. Total Experience Gospel Choir, Pat Wright. Again, you will see that exhibit here. Again, February 10th. Get your tickets now. Go to calltoconscious.world. There will be an exclusive performance and concert by the Total Experience Gospel, Alumni Gospel Choir, starting at 6 o'clock. You can go to Eventbrite. You can find it there. You can go to calltoconscious.world. Limited number of tickets. You get to come into the museum. And in addition to being into the museum, a night at the museum with the Total Experience Gospel Choir. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. We'll also have an exhibit from the Black Prisoners Caucus. This was started about the time of the, right after the Seattle Black Panthers Party. Black folks were getting arrested, and yes, that discrimination and those injustices and oppressions continued inside the prison system. They started the Black Prisoners Caucus. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering the name. Mr. Bell started the Black Prisoners Caucus, and they fought for a number of different rights. One of the things was for the University of Washington Black Student Union to come in and start teaching classes on math and history to those who were incarcerated. This eventually led to programs where those who were incarcerated could receive associates or or associate or business level degrees while they were incarcerated. There was also visitation programs. There was the opportunity to put together a bus system so that for folks who wanted to visit their family in prison, they could be bused there for free. The Black Prisoners Caucus will be here. And then also the Tacoma Buffalo Soldiers Museum has an exhibit down here as well. The Buffalo Soldiers have fought for this country since before the Civil War. The reason why they were called the Buffalo Soldiers, by the way, the story has it, is that that is what the natives of the land called them because of their fierce fighting ability, like buffaloes, and also their woolly hair. So, those are the exhibits and installations that will be available here at the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum. We're excited for you to come down. We'll be here from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. all the way through the 29th. We'll be open from Tuesdays through Sundays. I suggest you get your tickets in advance. Go to calltoconscience.world. These are guided tours, so no more than 10 per tour. We do that to make sure that everyone has a wonderful quality experience when you're getting this tour. Suggest you sign up in advance. Tours happen at the top of the hour, but we do take walk-ups as well. And we'll take walk-ups at the top of the hour and at the bottom of the hour. So you can do that. Again, go to calltoconscience.world. You can see all the information there. You can purchase your ticket in advance. You can walk up. And along with the tour of the museum, you also get a tour once again of this amazing 108-year-old theater. Wow.